Hello students, this is GATE 2021 electrical machine question asked from the topic transformer losses. Okay, in this question they are asking that in a single phase transformer the total iron loss is 2500 watt at a nominal voltage of 440 volt and 50 hertz frequency. In the other part they are saying that the total iron loss is 850 watt at 220 volt and a frequency of 25 hertz. Then at a nominal voltage and frequency, that is 440 volt and 50 hertz, they are asking what will be the hysteresis loss and eddy current loss respectively. Now you know that the iron loss is equal to sum of hysteresis loss and eddy current loss, right? So now we have to check from the given data whether V by F ratio is constant in the two cases or not. And if V by F is constant, then the hysteresis and eddy current loss are proportional to frequency and frequency square. And if V by F is not constant, then they will be dependent on voltage and frequency, right? So here we have to see the data given is, क्या क्या डेटा दिया हुआ है आप लोगों को? आयरन लॉस दिया हुआ है पहला 2500 वॉट, नॉमिनल वोल्टेज 440 वोल्ट और फ्रिक्वेंसी कितना दिया हुआ है 50 हर्ट्ज. ठीक है. दूसरा डेटा क्या है आपके पास? आयरन लॉस दिया हुआ है 850 वॉट इन द सेकंड केस, वोल्टेज इज 220 वोल्ट एंड द फ्रिक्वेंसी इज 25 हर्ट्ज. तो इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस में हम क्या करते थे? सबसे पहले यू हैव टू चेक वेदर V by F इज कांस्टेंट और नॉट. सो V1 by F1 इज 440 वोल्ट बाई 50 हर्ट्ज. तो ये कितना आ रहा है? 220 by 25 एंड दैट इज इक्वल टू V2 by F2, राइट? सो हमें यहां क्या मिल रहा है? दैट V by F इज कांस्टेंट. चलो, now if V by F is constant, then I know that the hysteresis loss and eddy current loss are independent of voltage and they will be only dependent on frequency. So hysteresis loss is directly proportional to frequency and eddy current loss is directly proportional to frequency square. तो यहाँ से हम PH equal to AF लिख सकते हैं और PE equal to BF square लिख सकते हैं. जहाँ A क्या है? A is hysteresis loss constant and B is eddy current loss constant. ठीक है. तो यहां पर आयरन लॉस क्या हो जाएगा? आयरन लॉस वुड बी इक्वल टू PI इक्वल टू PH प्लस PE. इसको लिख सकते हैं AF प्लस BF स्क्वायर. तो यहां पर F को कॉमन ले लो, PI बाई F हो जाएगा. दैट वुड बी इक्वल टू A प्लस BF, राइट? तो ये एक स्ट्रेट लाइन इक्वेशन बनता है ना? y इक्वल टू mx प्लस सी. राइट? इसका ग्राफ हमने प्लॉट किया था, अगर आपको याद होगा. इट वाज PI बाई F विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू F. ये स्ट्रेट लाइन इक्वेशन बना था, राइट? जिसका इंटरसेप्ट क्या था? दिस वाज द इंटरसेप्ट A और स्लोप क्या था? स्लोप वाज इक्वल टू एडी करंट लॉस कांस्टेंट B. तो इस तरीके से ग्राफ से हम फाइंड करते हैं हिस्टेरेसिस लॉस कांस्टेंट एंड एडी करंट लॉस कांस्टेंट, राइट? ये हमारा स्ट्रेट लाइन इक्वेशन है. और क्योंकि दो डेटा दिया हुआ है, वी आर गिवन टू डेटास फॉर द टू आयरन लॉसेस. ओके, सो वी कैन फाइंड द A एंड B, राइट? तो क्या कर सकते हैं? इस इक्वेशन को यूज करो. PI पहले केस में कितना है? 2500 वॉट 50 हर्ट्ज फ्रिक्वेंसी पे. सो A प्लस B इंटू 50. दूसरा डेटा क्या है? कितना दिया हुआ है? 850 वॉट, राइट? 850 वॉट, फ्रिक्वेंसी कितना है? 25. A प्लस B इंटू 25. वोल्टेज का कोई यूज नहीं है बिकॉज V बाई F क्या है? कांस्टेंट है. सो द लॉसेस विल बी इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ फ्रिक्वेंसी. सो यहां से आप इस दो इक्वेशन को यूज करो एंड ट्राई टू फाइंड द वैल्यू ऑफ A एंड B. तो फाइंड करो कितना आ रहा है ए एंड बी। इक्वेशन को आप सॉल्व करो एंड you'll get a as 18 and the value of b would be 0.64। ठीक है, तो उसके बाद अब क्या कर सकते हैं, a और b मिल गया तो हम pH निकाल सकते हैं एट अ नॉमिनल फ्रीक्वेंसी। नॉमिनल फ्रीक्वेंसी कितना है, इट इज गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन। नॉमिनल फ्रीक्वेंसी इज गिवन एज 50 हर्ट्ज। ठीक है, नॉमिनल वोल्टेज इज 440 वोल्ट, नॉमिनल फ्रीक्वेंसी इज 50 हर्ट्ज। तो नॉमिनल फ्रीक्वेंसी मतलब 50 हर्ट्ज पे क्या हो जाएगा, pH इज a इंटू एफ, 18 इंटू 50 एंड दैट वुड बी इक्वल टू 900 watt and eddy current loss would be bf square, that is 0.64 into f square is 50 whole square and the value that you will get is 1600 watt। ठीक है, तो pH और PE का वैल्यू आपको मिल गया। So the correct answer would be option A। pH is hysteresis loss is 900 watt and eddy current loss is 1600 watt. So option A is the correct option. Hello students, this is GATE 2021 electrical machine question in which a table is given to you. Okay, in one column of the table they have given the constructional feature, machine type in the other column and mitigation in the third column, right? So they are asking that these constructional features are used in which particular machine to reduce the effect of this particular thing. That is, for what purpose this constructional feature will be used in this particular machines, that you have to identify, right? Okay, so let us talk about damper bar. So damper bar or damper winding helps the synchronous motor to start on its own by providing the starting torque. So one purpose of damper bar is to provide the starting torque. Okay, now this damper bar are also used to avoid the phenomena of hunting. Okay, that is, whenever there would be a change in load or excitation or change in the other condition of the rotor, then the synchronous motor will oscillate to and fro about an equilibrium position. Okay, so damper bar are also used to avoid the phenomena of hunting, right? Okay, so damper bar are used in synchronous machine to avoid hunting, so that we can mark. Damper bar are used in synchronous motor to avoid the phenomena of hunting. Okay, so the first sequence that we are getting is PUX. Then they are asking about squid rotor slots. Now you know that the squid rotor slots, the squid rotor bar are used in squirrel cage induction motor to reduce the content of harmonics and also to avoid the magnetic locking in between the stator and rotor, right? So that is why we squeeze the rotor bar of induction motor. So the next sequence is Q, S, Y, Q, S, Y. So this is the next sequence. So if you look at the options, guys, you will see that option D is the correct answer. Okay, so we have to also see the compensating winding, right? So the compensating winding are generally placed in the slots that are cut out from the pole shoe of the DC machine. ठीक है, तो compensating winding कहाँ रहता है? They are placed in the slots in the pole shoe. ठीक है, in DC machine. And why these compensating winding are used? Compensating winding are used to reduce the effect of armature reaction. ठीक है, आर्मेचर रिएक्शन में कुछ डीमैग्नेटाइजिंग इफेक्ट होता है, कुछ क्रॉस मैग्नेटाइजिंग इफेक्ट होता है। उसको रिड्यूस करने के लिए वी प्लेस अनदर वाइंडिंग इन सीरीज विद द आर्मेचर वाइंडिंग okay, in the pole shoe to reduce the effect. अब वो कैसे reduce करते हैं वो सब हम अपने classes में देखेंगे, ठीक है. So the next sequence is R V Z. RVZ. QSY हट गया है, QSY. So the correct option is option D. Okay. So this is how we have to deal with this question. So you have to see the constructional feature, okay, and why they are used and in which machine they are used. Okay. So you have to just identify this in this question. Now if I talk about damper bar or low electrical resistance copper or aluminium brush that are embedded in the slots of the pole faces in salient pole machine, ठीक है, or it is used to avoid the phenomena of hunting. Hello students, this is GATE 2021 electrical machine question asked from the topic power flow diagram of induction motor. Okay, in this question they are asking that the power input to a 500 volt 50 Hz 6 pole 3 phase induction motor running at 975 rpm is 40 kilowatt. So the input power they have given. ठीक है, इनपुट पावर इंडक्शन मोटर का दिया हुआ है. द टोटल स्टेटर लॉस आर 1 किलोवाट. इफ द टोटल फ्रिक्शन एंड विंडेज लॉसेस आर 2.25 किलोवाट, then what will be the efficiency of the induction motor, right? So efficiency of the induction motor, you know that it is equal to output power by input power. The output power of the induction motor is mechanical power or shaft power by input power. The input power is already given to you, that is Pi. Input power is already given to you as 40 kilowatt. Okay. NR is given to you as 975 rpm, the speed of induction motor. ठीक है. The number of poles given to you is 6 and frequency is 50 Hz. So you can easily find the slip. First you have to find the synchronous speed. The synchronous speed is 120 F by P. So 120 into 50 by 6, this would come out to be 1000 rpm. So the slip would be equal to ns minus nr by ns. So 1000 minus 975, that is 25 by 1000, and this you will get as 0.025, right? So you know the slip now. So in the power, if you remember the power flow diagram, then you must know the relation between the air gap power to the copper loss to gross mechanical developed power, and the ratio was given as 1 is to S is to 1 minus S. That is, if you know one parameter, okay, you can easily get the other parameter from this given ratio. ठीक है, चलो. तो एयर गैप पावर क्या हो जाएगा? एयर गैप पावर इज इक्वल टू द इनपुट पावर ऑफ द इंडक्शन मोटर. ओके, इनपुट पावर इज नथिंग बट द स्टेटर पावर एंड माइनस स्टेटर पावर लॉस. ओके, स्टेटर लॉस, you will get the rotor input power which is nothing but air gap power. This PG is air gap power. तो PI कितना दिया हुआ है? PI दिया हुआ है आपको 40 किलोवाट minus stator losses, that is 1 kilowatt, you will get as 39 kilowatt. So PG air gap power comes out to be 39 kilowatt. So what is the gross mechanical developed power? This would be from the given relation. You can find PM by PG as 1 minus S. PM by PG as 1 minus S. So PM would be equal to 1 minus S into PG. तो कितना आ रहा है? 1 minus 0.025 into 39 kilowatt. This would come out to be 38.025 kilowatt. So this is mechanical power developed. But the mechanical power developed is not equal to the shaft power, because I know that the induction motor is a rotating machine, so there would be a frictional and windage losses, okay, that is rotational losses in the motor. So for getting the shaft power or the output power, what I can do is PM, mechanical power developed, minus friction and windage losses. Friction and windage losses. So PM is 38.025 and the friction and windage losses is given as 2.25 kilowatt. 2.25 kilowatt. It is actually 2.025. 2.025, okay, in the gate question. So 2.025, this would come out to be 36 kilowatt, okay. Therefore you can find the efficiency would come out to be P output by P input. Output power you got as 36 and the input power was given to you as 40 kilowatt. 40 kilowatt, okay, this is the input power given to you, okay. So 36 by 40 would come out to be 490. So this would be 0.9. They have asked percentage efficiency, so multiply by 100, you will get 90%. So what is the efficiency? 90%. Okay, so this is how you can tackle this question. We have done several questions on this particular topic, that is power flow diagram, and the questions that are given from this are generally simpler, because if you know the relation and the power flow diagram concept, you can easily handle all these questions. Okay, so the efficiency would come out to be 90%. This is GATE 2021 electrical machine question, okay, asked from the topic EMF equation of the DC machine. In this question, they are asking that a belt-driven DC shunt generator running at 300 RPM delivers 100 kilowatt to 200 volt DC grid. It continues to run as a motor when the belt breaks, taking 10 kilowatt from the DC grid. Okay, so initially it was a DC shunt generator and the speed was 300 RPM. Okay, and it was delivering 100 kilowatt to a 200 volt DC grid. Now, when it is running as a motor, it takes only 10 kilowatt from that DC grid. Okay, so the input power in the next case of motor, the input power in case of motor is just 10 kilowatt. Okay, the armature resistance is 0.025 ohm, field resistance is 50 ohm, and the brush drop is 2 volt. Okay, they have not given individual brush drop, they have given total brush drop and it is 2 volt. Okay, the individual brush volt can never be greater than 1 volt. Okay, so they have given the total brush drop for the two brushes, that is 2 volt. Ignoring the armature reaction, that is, you have to keep the flux constant. Okay, there is no decrement in flux because you are neglecting the effect of armature reaction here. So what will be the speed of the motor? Okay, you are not changing excitation, you are not changing the you are ignoring the armature reaction effect, so the flux would be taken as a constant. Okay, so let us see that first is the case of generator. So generator case we'll see, and we'll try to find what will be the EMF developed in case of generator. Okay, now you know that from the EMF equation, E is directly proportional to N by phi, but phi is constant, so I'll say that E is directly proportional to N. Now for generator, the speed of generator is already given to you and it is 300 RPM. So if you find the EMF of generator and back EMF of motor, okay, and the speed of generator is given to you, you can easily find the speed of motor, right? So let us do that. First, draw the shunt generator. So this is your, okay, this is your shunt generator. Okay, the load is given to you. It is delivering the power to a 200 volt DC grid, right? This is 200 volt. This is your line current. This is your armature current because it is generator, so it will deliver the armature current. And this is your field current, and the field resistance is already given to you, that is 50 ohm, and the armature resistance is 0.025 ohm. ठीक है, brush volt is already given 2 volt. ठीक है, so first you find what will be the value of IL. So the power that is delivered to the DC grid is 100 kilowatt. ठीक है, so power delivered is VL IL 100 into 10 to the power 3. VL is 200 volt. You have to find IL. So IL would come out to be 500 ampere. ठीक है, IL would come out to be 500 ampere. So once you know the value of IL, you can easily find IA, because IF value is VL by RF, right? VL by RF, and VL is 200 volt DC grid and RF is 50 ohm. So that would be 4 ampere. So IA, that is the armature current delivered in case of generator, would be IL plus IF. So 500 plus 4 would come out to be 504 ampere. Once you know the value of IA, and RA is also known to you, RA is given as 0.025 ohm, you can find the EMF developed or EMF generated in case of generator, and the EMF developed is given as VL plus IARA plus brush voltage drop. This you should not neglect, okay, because here they have mentioned that the brush drop is 2 volts, so you need not neglect it, otherwise you will get the wrong आंसर. तो VL कितना है? VL दिया है 200 वोल्ट डीसी ग्रिड है सर. IA हमने निकाला है 504 एम्पियर. RA आपका दिया हुआ क्वेश्चन में 0.025 प्लस ब्रश वोल्टेज ड्रॉप जो दिया हुआ है टोटल वो 2 वोल्ट दिया हुआ है. सो दिस वुड कम आउट टू बी 214.6 वोल्ट, राइट. सो जनरेटर का काम पूरा हो गया. इसमें स्पीड भी पता है आपको, जनरेटर का स्पीड भी पता है कितना है 300 आरपीएम, और EMF जनरेटेड भी पता चल गया. ठीक है, सो वंस आई फाइंड द EMF ऑफ मोटर, ओके, EMF ऑफ मोटर, that is back EMF of motor, you can easily find the motor speed from this given relation. E is directly proportional to N. Okay, you know that flux is constant here. Flux is constant because you're not changing the excitation and you're ignoring the armature reaction effect. So flux would be taken as constant. So let us take the case of motor. तो मोटर में आपको NM नहीं पता है. This you have to find. So I can easily find the back EMF of motor, but first I have to find the value of armature current in case of motor. The armature current is absorbed in case of motor. तो मोटर का शंट मोटर बनाओ. यहाँ पर आपको the power is absorbed from this 200 volt DC grid, but the power input power taken is just 10 kilowatt. So this is 200 volt DC grid, but the power that is taken from here is just 10 kilowatt. So from here I'll find the value of IL. This is your IA, that is the armature current that is absorbed in case of motor, and this is your IF, field current, and this is RF. ठीक है. RF would be same, that is 50 ohm, and voltage is same. RF is same, voltage is same, so IF would remain same, that is 4 ampere, but I have to find what will be the value of this IL. So IL would be equal to input power is 10 kilowatt, right? Input power is 10 kilowatt. So let us find. So input power is VL into IL. So 10 into 10 to the power 3. So VL is 200 volt. The grid voltage remains same, but the input power that is taken is less. So IL I have to find from here, and this is 10 into 10 to the power 3. So IL would come out to be 50 ampere from here. 50 ampere, right? And IF value would remain same because I know that VL is same and RF is same. So IF value would remain same, that is 4 ampere. That is why I am telling you that the excitation is remain same in case of generator and motor. In both the cases I am having 4 ampere. So that is why I am assuming that the flux is constant. Okay, there are two conditions because you are neglecting the armature reaction and the excitation remains same. That is why the flux will remain same. That is why the EMF is just dependent on the speed. The EMF of a DC machine is just dependent on the speed of the corresponding machine. चलो, तो IF मिल गया, तो IA क्या होगा? In case of motor, IA would be equal to IL minus IF, right? That is 50 ampere minus 4 ampere. This would come out to be 46 ampere, and RA is known to you, that is 0.025 ampere, 0.025 ohm. So the back EMF would be equal to VL minus IA RA minus V drop. ठीक है, EMF equation of the DC motor is given like this. So 200 minus IARA, that is 46 ampere, RA is 0.025 ohm, and V drop is 2 volt. So this would come out to be 196.85 volt. Okay? So now you know the EMF of motor, EMF of generator. The speed of generator was given to you. You just have to find the speed of the motor from this given relation. So although the calculation looks the calculation is lengthy, but if you do it correctly, the concept is very simpler, and we have done enough question of this particular type. Okay, so if you just follow it accurately, you will get the correct answer. So EB by EG is equal to this is back EMF, so corresponding speed is motor speed, and this is developed EMF or the generated EMF, so the corresponding speed would be generator speed. So I know that EB is 196.85, EG is 214.6, NM you have to find, and the speed of generator is given to you, that is 300 RPM. So the speed of the motor would come out to be 275.18 RPM, right? 275.18 RPM. So you have to correct it to two decimal places, round off to 2 decimal places. So I am getting up to 2 decimal places as 275.18. So the correct answer is 275.18 RPM is the speed of motor. Okay, this is GATE 2021 electrical machine question asked from the topic mutual inductance between the winding. Now you must be knowing the mutual inductance concept, okay, which tells that if there is EMF that is induced in the secondary, the EMF is induced due to the current in the primary winding. If the EMF is induced in the secondary winding, that is due to the current in the primary winding. Okay, so that is the concept of mutual inductance. Okay, so now here, as you can see, a sinusoidal source of frequency 100 kilohertz, okay, that is a radio frequency, very high frequency, sinusoidal source is connected to the primary winding of this transformer and a resistance is also connected to it in series. Okay, and this is the secondary winding that has been shown to you. Okay, they are asking what will be the mutual inductance, and they have already given the peak to peak voltage of the secondary winding and the peak to peak voltage of this resistance branch. Okay, so if I know the peak to peak voltage of this particular element, okay, so I can find the peak voltage of this particular element, and if I can find peak voltage of this particular element, I can find the current that is flowing through this resistance. And once I found the current through this resistance, since this is connected in series with this primary winding, the primary winding current would also be same, and with this particular concept I can find the mutual inductance. So first, the data that is known to me is this is the peak to peak voltage of this resistance branch, right? So if peak to peak voltage for resistance 22 ohm for this element, I am finding the peak voltage. They have given peak to peak voltage as 5 volt. Okay, so what will be the peak voltage? 5 by 2, that is 2.5 volt, right? So if peak voltage of this particular branch is known to you, the peak current of this resistance would be equal to, because this is a resistive element, so I can directly apply I is equal to V by R. Okay, Vp is 2.5 volt, R is 22 ohm. This would give you the maximum current as 0.114 ampere. So this is the peak current, right? Peak current that is flowing is 0.114 ampere, the maximum current or the peak current flowing through this element. So the same current must be flowing through this primary winding, okay? And since this is a sinusoidal voltage source, the current that is that would be flowing in this primary winding would be also sinusoidal. Okay, so the sinusoidal equation of the current of the primary winding would be given as Im sin omega t. This is how you give the current equation, okay, sinusoidal current equation of the primary winding. But Im is I peak, that is known to you, maximum current 0.114 sin of omega t. ठीक है, अच्छा, तो यहां पर जो करंट फ्लो कर रहा है, जो साइनोसोडल करंट है, ठीक है, 0.114 साइन ओमेगा टी का इक्वेशन है. चलो, नाउ द ईएमएफ दैट इज इंड्यूस्ड इन द सेकेंडरी, so this is the peak to peak voltage of primary. So this is the peak voltage of primary, this is the peak current of primary, है ना? So IM1 और IP1 is same. चलो, the secondary peak to peak voltage, okay, or the peak to peak voltage of the secondary winding is 7.3 volt. ठीक है? So what is the peak voltage of the secondary? 7.3 by 2, that would be 3.65. ठीक है? Okay, so that is the peak to peak voltage of secondary. Now since there is no resistance connected at the secondary winding, the voltage or EMF would be same, right? So I can write this as E2 maximum as 3.65 volt. Why? Because there is no resistance or leakage inductance connected to it. Okay, so I can write E2 max as 3.65 volt. Now you know that the EMF induced in the secondary, okay, is due to the current in the primary. The EMF induced in the secondary is due to the current in the primary. So if you use this concept, then the concept of mutual inductance comes. So the proportionality constant is M. That is the mutual inductance between two windings. So this indicates that the EMF which is induced in the secondary is due to the current flowing in the primary winding I1. And that is why I have written I1 instantaneous current as 0.114 sin omega t. So with this concept, I will get the EMF induced in the secondary winding. So E2 is M d by dt of 0.114 sin omega t. डिफ्रेंशिएट करो इसको, क्या हो जाएगा सर? दिस इज m दैट आई हैव टू फाइंड. d by dt ऑफ दिस इज 0.114, एक कांस्टेंट, इसको बाहर निकाल लो. और d by dt ऑफ sin ओमेगा t क्या हो जाएगा? ओमेगा इंटू कॉस ओमेगा टी, यही हो जाएगा. तो सर अगर हम E2 का इक्वेशन देखें, so this is also sinusoidal because a cos term is coming in it. Okay, so whatever is before this cos is the peak value. ये क्या है इसका? peak value. So E2 if I write as E2m sin omega t or cos omega t, so the peak value is this one. ठीक है, जब ओमेगा टी क्या हो जाएगा? 0 हो जाएगा, तो आपको E2 का मैक्सिमम वैल्यू मिलेगा जो कि m इंटू 0.114 इंटू ओमेगा है. अब E2 का मैक्सिमम वैल्यू आप जानते हो, है ना? तो E2m इज नथिंग बट m 0.114 और ओमेगा को लिख सकते हैं 2 पाई f. और f कितना दिया हुआ है? दैट हाई फ्रिक्वेंसी इज गिवन एज 100 किलो हर्ट्ज. So 100 into 10 to the power 3. So E2m that I found as 3.65 volt. Mutual inductance between the winding I have to find. Then 0.114. Then 2 pi into 10 to the power 5. Right? So this solve this one and you will get the mutual inductance between the primary and secondary winding as 50.95 microhenry. Remember the question, in the question they have given the parameter mutual inductance to be found in microhenry, right? So that is why I got it in microhenry, and they have told to round off to 2 decimal places. So I am just restricting this data to 2 decimal places, that is 50.95. So the correct answer would be 0.95. Is it clear to you? So using the current of primary winding, okay, because it was connected in series with the resistance, okay, I am getting the sinusoidal current equation of the primary winding, and due to this sinusoidal current, the EMF that is induced in the secondary is E2 is equal to M di1 by dt, and using this concept I am getting the mutual inductance between primary and secondary. This is GATE 2021 electrical machine question asked from the topic torque slip characteristics of induction motor. Okay, torque slip characteristic of 3-phase induction motor. So in this question they are asking that a 8-pole 50 Hz 3-phase slip ring induction motor has an effective rotor resistance of 0.08 ohm per phase. Okay, so the rotor resistance they have given as 0.08 ohm per phase. Its speed, that is rotor speed at maximum torque, is 650 rpm. Okay, so what is the data they have given? Let us see the solution part. So 8-pole 50 Hz rotor resistance R2 dash is given as 0.08 ohm per phase. Speed at maximum torque NMT is given as 650 rpm. ठीक है? Then they are telling that the additional resistance per phase that must be inserted in the rotor to achieve maximum torque at the starting. So what resistance I need to insert to achieve maximum torque at the start? Okay, so I know that this is a slip ring induction motor, and in a slip ring induction motor we insert additional or external resistance through slip ring and brushes to increase the starting torque, right? That we have already seen. So this is telling that what additional resistance you need to insert such that the starting torque is the maximum torque. The starting torque is equal to the maximum torque. In that case, what resistance you need to put here? So they have already given that you need to neglect the magnetizing current and the stator leakage impedance. Okay. So if magnetizing branch is neglected and the stator leakage impedance, that is resistance and reactance, okay, stator resistance and stator leakage reactance is neglected, in that case we go for the approximate analysis, and in that case we write as Sm equal to slip for maximum torque as R2 by R2 dash by X2 dash. This is the case of slip at maximum torque in approximate analysis condition. For the exact analysis, we consider the magnetizing branch, we consider the stator leakage impedance, but here they have told that they are neglecting this. And if we are neglecting this, means we are going for approximate analysis in which the SMT will just be dependent on R2 and X2. It is the ratio of R2 and X2. Okay. So initially I want to know what will be the synchronous speed. Synchronous speed is 120 F by P. So 120 into 50 by number of pole is 8. So this would come out to be 750 RPM. 750 RPM. ठीक है, synchronous speed मिल गया. So I can get the slip now because I know that the motor speed or the rotor speed at maximum torque, which is equal to 650 RPM, this would be equal to ns into 1 minus s. So I want to know what is the slip at maximum torque. Because if the motor speed is maximum, if the rotor speed is maximum, that means the slip corresponding to this speed will also be maximum. The slip corresponding to that speed will also be maximum. However, the synchronous speed remain constant. Okay, so 650 and ns is given as we found as 750, 1 minus SMT. So tell me the value of SMT, guys. What is the value of SMT? 1 minus SMT would be equal to 65 by 75. Okay? So 65 by 75 would come out to be 0.867. So SMT would come out to be 1 minus 0.867. So that would come out to be 0.134. 0.134. Okay. Now we have already seen that we are taking approximate analysis. So apply this one, R2 dash by X2 dash. So from here I will get the value of leakage reactance of the rotor. Leakage reactance of the rotor would come out to be R2 dash, that is, what is the value of R2 dash? 0.08. So 0.08 by 0.134. So 0.08 by 0.134 you'll be getting as 0.597. 0.597. You also check it. .597. Yes. So now you know the value of rotor leakage reactance. तो अब आपको बोल रहा है कि नेक्स्ट केस में क्या एडिशनल रेजिस्टेंस पुट करोगे आप ताकि आपको स्टार्टिंग में ही मैक्सिमम टॉर्क मिले. सो ही इज आस्किंग व्हाट R2 dash you need to put R external. You need to put such that T starting is equal to T max. So you know that if you want to achieve maximum torque at the start only, then the value of maximum, then the value of slip corresponding to this would be equal to 1, right? Because I know the relation between T starting by T max, and that was equal to 2 Sm by Sm square plus 1. Okay, so the new value of the slip corresponding to maximum torque is 1. So this value, this condition we have already discussed in the class, that if you want to achieve maximum torque at the starting, and we know that at the starting the value of slip is maximum, that is equal to 1. The speed is 0 and the slip is maximum at the start or standstill condition. So we already know this. ठीक है, तो उस केस में हमको स्टार्टिंग टॉर्क क्या मिलेगा? मैक्सिमम मिलेगा. तो यहां पर अब क्या कर सकते हैं? R2 प्लस R external, this additional resistance we are inserting in the rotor of the induction motor such that I can get this T starting equal to T max, and for this the value of slip is 1. So x2 dash we have already got, right? R2 dash we know that it is 0.08. R external we have to find. X2 dash we have found 0.597, that is equal to 1. So the value of R external that we are getting is 0.518 ohm per phase, and if I want to approximate it to 2 decimal places, it would be 0.52 ohm per phase. So what is the value of external resistance that you are getting, guys? 0.52 ohm per phase, round off to 2 decimal places. देख रहे हो? तो देखो यहां पर आपको दो चीजें जाननी थी कि अगर आप मैग्नेटाइजिंग करंट नेग्लेक्ट कर रहे हो या मैग्नेटाइजिंग ब्रांच नेग्लेक्ट कर रहे हो और स्टेटर लीकेज इंपेडेंस भी नेग्लेक्ट कर रहे हो, मतलब R1 एंड X1 यू आर नेग्लेक्टिंग, मतलब क्या होता है कि आप अप्रोक्सीमेट एनालिसिस लेकर काम कर रहे हो और उस केस में जो SMT होगा वो R2/X2 होगा और मैक्सिमम टॉर्क भी बदल जाता है. ठीक है, द सिंपलर फॉर्म वी गॉट वी जनरली गेट. अगर आप मैग्नेटाइजिंग ब्रांच और लीकेज इंपेडेंस इग्नोर कर दो तो हमें जो SMT है, स्लिप कोरस्पॉन्डिंग टू मैक्सिमम टॉर्क, एंड द टॉर्क मैक्सिमम टॉर्क वो सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्म में मिलता है, राइट? तो यहाँ पर हम अप्रोक्सीमेट एनालिसिस लेकर काम किए और हम वहाँ से x2 डैश निकालें, और x2 डैश निकालने के बाद what is the additional resistance we need to put to get the starting torque, to get the maximum torque at the starting we have got. ठीक है, तो कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है. R एक्सटर्नल कितना आ रहा है? 0.52 ओम पर फेज.